Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. This episode, of course, is all about social media do's, don'ts, good, bads, uglies, all of that good stuff. And of course, In the Know with Steph and Joe, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Restoration One, Carrie, and with Steph's Books. Good afternoon.
Hey.
Whoop, whoop.
I feel like this conversation is going to be like a big debate. I feel like
there's going to be a lot of people, I feel like, that should dial in and share their opinion. And we're going to, yes.
Yeah, I feel
so
like there's going to be, because I've been looking through some people's social media posts lately, and some of them are business owners, some of them are not. So there's just this thing can spiderweb into so many directions between like you as a business owner and representing your brand and being out there and being public with your personal page versus your employees and them and their personal and their like pages and then you have like Instagram and like it's like a whole other animal.
Okay, so
this is going to be an interesting thing.
Start this off with. I think the most basic would be your personal page.
Okay.
I really, truly believe that if you manage your personal page correctly.
Oh, we already got a question.
We already got
on which platform or all platforms?
Okay. Let me put this forward to say that I do not have any platform besides Facebook. I don't even Facebook Messenger people. I literally avoid at all costs all social media.
I am so glad that you are on the show today. We should have saved this for a day that you weren't going to be here.
We probably should have, because I am not the proper. Well, to be honest, I will say I don't adhere to it, but I appreciate.
Oh yeah, can you send Steve the link? He's Steve owns Market Sparks, and he'd like to provide some insight on his expertise with the social media.
I'll do, Steve, I'll just post it right here.
And there it is.
And if you just copy that URL and put it up there.
There you go.
Bang, bang, boo. Here's good old Uncle Pete. If you take that. And let me just unmute. If you take that, if I unmute, it's first show that I'm producing. If you take that and just copy that, put it in your URL, you'll come right in, brother.
So
it'll be like a Zoom kind of.
For myself, I will say I am understanding and fully appreciative of social media and what it draws to your business. I have employees that operate social media on a regular basis in all platforms, right? So I understand what it brings to a business. However, I don't operate it. I don't care to. I don't want to. However, I don't care to. Hey,
all
Steve.
Right, Steve, I need you to
dialing in.
I need you to either put in an earbud or something, because we got a pretty good echo going.
We don't want the back. Yeah.
Put in an earbud or something.
We don't want. So, in my mind,
so if you get off of the live stream, Steve, so you don't have both windows going, so you just start using just the StreamYard, that'll get rid of that echo.
There you go.
There we go.
You hear, bro?
Yeah, he's got it figured out.
Now
Can you guys hear me?
There he is.
Hey, Steve, how's it going?
You would think I would get this stuff. I'm a tech guy.
We all
and,
have.
And Steph, I need to clarify. I don't know how much insight I'm going to provide at 3 p.m. on an afternoon, Friday afternoon.
It is what it is.
So when I had posted this on Facebook and shared, Steve had commented from the aspect of somebody that he does websites and social media posts and all of that. So he handles it from the back end of things with the SEO and the analytics side of it. So he's going to be more of the professional sounding board versus
Yeah.
me and Joe being just opinions.
Well, let's face it. Come on now. I mean, I feel like
I mean, you have a Facebook page.
I have a Facebook page. I will say my company does a lot on social media. We do stuff, but are we? Am I governing that? No, I know somebody that does it, right? So, Steve, how would you first get people to go out and start their social media presence?
So from a business standpoint, I personally feel that every business, I know a lot of people will say, well, my industry is not really on social media. And I don't buy that at all. Every industry is on social media.
Thank you.
And it's not just Facebook. It's Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. Obviously, you've got to spend your time and devote your time to the platform that makes the most sense. So, for example, if you strictly only sell to other businesses, I think it's really critical that you have a LinkedIn business page. Business B2B or B2C companies, I think should definitely be on Facebook. Whether or not you choose to incorporate Instagram, if you've got a lot of things, pictures, products you want to showcase, things like that, I think Instagram. It's really not difficult to get set up on these. Facebook does a pretty good job of walking you through it. But then it's understanding, okay, how do I go about growing that following? Because if I create a Facebook business page, I have 0 followers to start. So now you got to start figuring out how you're going to get followers. And that's going to come through your personal page, your friends' personal pages.
Steve, wait, I got to cut you off. How hard is it to gain, if you have 0 people right away, how hard is it to gain followers?
So there's multiple strategies there. First and foremost, I would tell you to ask everybody on your personal page to go like your business page.
Right.
And ask them to share it with all of their friends in case there's business owners that might be interested in your products and services. Aside from that, there are growth campaigns that a marketing company such as us can run for you to grow your following.
All right. I want you to answer me, person to human. If I'm going to go and build my business, let's say I'm selling, hang on. I got one. I'm selling the poop emoji molds that you can squeeze, Play-Doh into to form a poop emoji out of Play-Doh, right? I'm selling just the mold for that. Steve, how can you tell me to go and promote this online? Is there an easy way for me to just start to gain people online without spending money through my social media?
Are you selling that to consumers or to other businesses?
Steve, doesn't matter.
It does. Absolutely.
No. Am I able to just go and have a simple platform, simple way to just produce some social media?
Well, there would be different strategies that you'd be using. So if you're going to, like for me being a B2B person, the things and the topics that I would talk about would appeal to other business owners. But if I was a B2C company and I was selling a product, maybe such as that, a mold, I would market it in a very different way to entice people. So I would have possibly 2 different campaigns running at the same time. Is that correct, Steve, or no?
Yeah, and the platform is going to matter. I mean, if you're only trying to sell that mold to businesses that would use that mold, you probably want to do that posting and advertising on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay. Love that idea. So LinkedIn versus, your platforms may differentiate if you're B2B or B2C. Right?
We have a question from the audience.
We have a question from the audience.
So I think you have to approach social media like a billboard. You want to get your product, your business, whatever it is, out in front of people. Where do people spend most of their time? We used to love billboards because everybody was cruising on the highway, right? And it's brand recognition. So I think what happens is people are like, oh my gosh, I have to use social media for marketing. Get that out of the way and say, I need it for brand recognition because everybody's cruising on some social media platform. Is it? Am I making sense with that?
I'd love to hear Steve's outtake on that, because that's more of a marketing specialist.
Yeah, I mean, that gets into really what's the overall intent and goal of what you're trying to achieve. And that's kind of how we make determinations on what direction to go. Nobody's going to know your brand right away. So things usually start with some type of brand awareness campaign. Now, we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit here, but let's say, for example, you have 1,000 people who follow your business page on any social media platform, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it might be. Social media is kind of crappy in this regard. So if you do a post, what's known as an organic post, so you just, as a business owner, you go create a post on Facebook. Actually, it's probably around 2% of your followers, even though you've got 1,000 business followers on your Facebook page, about 2% of them will actually see that on their feed when they're scrolling through Facebook. So that's Facebook's way of saying, you want to get this in front of more people, you got to pay us. You got to boost that post, or you have to create an ad.
Wow. Totally. So the boost, and that's where I think a lot of people get caught up, is they're like, oh, I'll boost it. It's like if you're playing a stupid game and they're like, oh, you want to buy this extra armor for, fake online, what does my wife call it? She says, I want to buy fake things with real money. I want to buy fake things with real money, right? Like, do you want to boost your post? You're buying, in our eyes, it's fake things with real money, right? Like, I'm going to boost a post, but like, what does that do, Steve?
Well, what it does is it allows you to target a specific audience. So you can say, I want to boost this to my 1,000 followers, or you can say, I want to boost it to an audience who has shown Facebook that they have a tendency to click on niche products like emoji poop. There's all kinds of demographics and interests. If we're speaking, primarily here about Facebook, all different types of audiences you can build and try to boost that post to. It's different than, for example, advertising on Google, where somebody is searching for your product or services. So there's what's known as search intent there. Facebook, you don't have that. LinkedIn, you don't have that. Instagram, you don't have that. You're really trying to get your target audience to see your product through research you're doing and through looking at ads that your competitors are running, for example. And I don't want to be misleading here. Look, this is not simple. I'll tell you what, Chelsea, who heads up our digital marketing team, I'll tell you what when she joined us, what she told me was we did nothing but spend money. Throw away money, I should say, because there's people who are experts in this stuff, right? If I'm not going to try to do my own bookkeeping, I'm going to call Steph. I'm going to hire a professional that's what they do. So I don't want people to run out and start boosting posts and start trying to run ads, because it's very, very complicated. And if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Well, one of the biggest things that we had a problem with in the beginning was they're like, oh, boost your post, spend some money on Google ads. And we're like, yeah, let's do it. And, they set us up with all these people that could do whatever we wanted to do, but they could spend our money. They could not actually guarantee our production, right? You could spend as much money as you want on Google posts or Google ads, but you're not guaranteed to make money off that.
So one thing that we were talking about in the green room was kind of the do's and don'ts as a business owner versus your business page versus your personal page. Mm-hmm. So I do have a handful of my clients that are friends with me on my personal page. I mean, I don't really post a whole lot of anything, but do you think it's best to keep business and personal and not allow your clients to be friends with you on social media and kind of make your personal page private, just in case you post some things that could be unfavorable?
Detrimental?
Well, once it's out there, it's on the internet, right? So I would always just caution what you're posting. Don't post your drunkest of pictures if you're going to be friends also with any of your clients. And I think that the industry matters, right? So, for example, we do a lot in the health and wellness space. So chiropractors and massage therapists, things like that. Those people are all over social media. They friend you. So they're going to be part of your business and your personal profiles. Whereas, some of the larger clients that we work with, different types of industries, would I turn down a friend request? I wouldn't turn down a friend request, but I wouldn't seek it out.
That's a good point. I've been getting a lot of them lately, friend requests that I'm like, ooh, do I really want to be friends with this person on social media?
Do you feel like as a business owner, you have to be more careful what you post on social media on any platform?
Or who you're associated with?
Or do you feel like it's the same no matter who you are? You should be careful because if your employee is out there posting insane things and people see it, it's just about the same as the owner.
Yeah, these days, whether it's personal posting or business posting, I think you should do so thinking, do I want my grandmother to see this?
Listen, my grandmother cannot see. Well, I'll be honest.
Grandma.
There's one grandma that can't see anything, and there's another grandma who would probably embarrass me in public. And that's pretty hard.
So what are your thoughts on other business owners? So I'll just put it out there. So I shared the post, okay, for our topic today on my personal page, as I do every week. And I purposely misspelled and poor grammared my post because I wanted to see how many people like the post and just didn't really read it. They just like it, and that's fine. I appreciate it. And then, and then there's some people that, would maybe private message me and tell me, hey, I noticed these couple things. Did you need to put that up there?
Was that purposeful?
Or there's people that just comment and kind of
straight up jerks
tell you, that you did X, Y, and Z wrong with your post. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about what? About people telling you something is wrong with your post?
When people can't help them, if they're your friend, your real friend, and not a Facebook friend, and they publicly comment on something that you did wrong, do you feel like that's in poor form as another business owner? Because that's how they're conducting themselves with other business owners in the community, and they're not necessarily protecting them? Or do you feel like it's just whatever because everybody post whatever they want on Facebook or Instagram, whatever, people just comment because they just comment, and that's how it is? Because
I think if the criticism is constructive and helpful to other people who might be seeing that post, I think it's okay. If
it all depends on the description or the feedback, right?
Yeah, and look, we all know these days that everybody's angry, everybody's looking for an argument. Don't engage. That's my advice. Don't engage.
Yeah. So what do you think when business owners that are, so let's say it has nothing to do with their business at all, but there's another random post on social media and then they engage in the fight on social media. Do you think that that's damaging to their business or just their personal appearance?
Or both?
Yeah, again, it's the same thing. If you're going to make an opinion on something like that, and it's based in fact, you can back it up. I don't see a problem with it. But don't be attacking. Don't be condescending. Look, I think there's not enough people out there truly trying to help people and educate people, and opinions can be very dangerous on social media.
Yeah. Do you think that people, do you guys help people respond to reviews within the services that you guys offer? Because sometimes there's been shows. What was that show called? Like that Marcus Lemonis show, whatever. Yeah. So when he had that show, there was that dog groomer guy that was fighting everybody on social media, every single review. Do you guys kind of help guide and direct like the proper responses when there's a constructive criticism?
We do. We've actually done a lot of research on this, and we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. There is a right way and a wrong way to respond to reviews. Particularly, look, every business is going to get some what I'll call, potentially damaging reviews. Unfortunately, there is no back and forth. It's the person leaving the review, the company addressing the review. So the company has a little bit of an edge because you have the upper hand.
You have the last word, if you will.
You do. And if somebody happens to leave a review, and this happens all the time, we just had this with one of our clients last week. Somebody left a review of that company, and they're not even a customer, never were a customer. They're not in the client's database or anything. So what you do in that case is you reach out to Google and you try to get that review removed. It takes an awful long time, and so you respond to it because people will see that review, and you state just that. Hey, this isn't even a client of ours. They've left us a bad review. I'm not. You don't need to go into, I don't understand why people do this, and just say, hey, this isn't a client of ours, and we're working with Google to get the review.
Steve, I've done that with our company before, and we have been able to reach out to Google because we have enough of a connection, and we know our business enough. Let's say I was a client or a customer of Google and I had no idea what to do. Could I reach out to you and you take over my Google account and you contact Google and take over that and handle those kind of things? Is this something that a company could handle for me? Because let's be honest, most business owners don't have the time to deal with Google.
Yeah. So if you're going to hand that off to another company to try to mitigate, first of all, that company is not going to be the business owner. So I'm not sure how successful it would be, but I would do it with a company that is a Google certified partner.
Are you?
We are. Yep.
Okay, great. Lead into Steve, please share your contact and tell us how all of our listeners can get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Deal?
Yeah, work through Steph.
Oh, no. Share it out loud. Come on, bro.
I'm willing to help anybody. I dropped a comment into this live feed. So if anybody wants to reach out, part of what we do is we educate. We will help anybody. We spend an inordinate amount of time helping people without charging. And at some point I think it's a really good thing to do. I really want people to be educated. We'll try to help as best we can and take it from there.
Can you drop your information into the comments again one more time right now, just so everybody that's listening knows how to get a hold of you? Thank you, sir.
You bet. Appreciate the opportunity to be on with you guys.
Listen, to be honest, if you have somebody that is very well educated in that realm, right? Like you're going to seek their information. If they're willing to give it to you for free, I love those kind of people. So let's talk a little bit about how to circumnavigate bad social media.
Oh, Derek says that he'll catch you on the golf course, Steve, and pick your brain.
Yeah,
It's golf season.
I'm sure he will.
Derek's I see that connection.
Yeah, I know Derek. Derek and I play golf together.
Yeah, they're friends.
Oh, good. Okay, good. I was going to say, Steve, if you don't know how to play golf, I've been learning from Derek for the past year and a half, and I can't wait for more information.
Sorry.
I actually, to be honest, I can't wait to shove a hole through his garage door when I go and play at his new acquired little studio for golf.
Yeah, he told me about that. I haven't gotten the invite yet.
Neither have I. It's not fully set up. So as soon as it is, I'll be sure to slam some holes through it.
So do you recommend putting the same posts on all of your social media platforms, or should you switch them up as they kind of like to cater to that specific thing? Like Instagram is different than Facebook or Snap or TikTok or like et cetera, et cetera. Like, should you switch it up?
Yeah. That's a great question. Should you switch it up, or should you keep it consistent?
So a couple things. I think it depends on your audience is the main answer, but some of them you are forced to switch it up. So say, for example, we run a post on Facebook that is geared towards potentially sending somebody to our website. That same post won't work on Instagram because, of course, on Instagram you can have links. So you're forced to change it up.
So is that based on industry? Is that based on
No, it's just a
laws?
platform.
Is that based on like I'm with restoration? What would you tell me for all of my platforms?
Well, Instagram won't let you have links. What I would tell you about posting in general for any business is I would keep your quote unquote sales post. So maybe where you're trying to drive somebody to your website, maybe one a week, one every 2 weeks. I think we do one every 2 weeks. We post 3 to 5 times a week, and always we're trying to post educational information that'll help people. We'll link out to Entrepreneur Magazine or different places that might have very valuable information for an entrepreneur. We will on every other Friday we will do a post geared towards showcasing the 5-star review that we've gotten. But very little of the posting really should be a sales objective. That said, if you're posting on, should your LinkedIn post be the same as your Facebook post? Yeah, if your creative team is writing posts that will apply to whatever platform it's being written on, your target audience is still the same. It doesn't change. So yeah, I would, share content as much as you can.
So are the rules still the same? Basically, like don't post sex, drugs, and religion kind of stuff, like, or politics kind of things, like things that you wouldn't talk about in mixed company or politics, business environment. Like, is that the same thing for social media for business owners, or if you're firm in your position on something, you stand by it?
No, we don't touch. Now this is maybe part my opinion, and I think that Facebook and the social media platforms have ways they will ding you if you post controversial topics, but we don't do anything related to religion, politics, anything that's going to create controversy.
Unless you're a church or a politician, then feel free to do religion and politics.
Well, so there's restrictions there, and I'm glad you brought that up. So we have a very, very large church that's a client. We cannot post anything about the religious beliefs of that church.
That's very hard. So let's say I was a politician and I'm trying to be politically correct. That's a tough one. Yeah, well, that's a tough one to navigate, right? Like, what can you do to be outside of the bubble but still play in the sandbox? Play in the sandbox.
You can educate.
Education. It's strictly education, which I'll say our company as Restoration One, we have videos that we post on a weekly basis that are strictly education. That's it. It's a social media post, goes out, it's education. Kent is just fully agreeing from the backside on this. But
Do you ever come across posts and you're like, oh no, I can't believe that they did that? What would be your top 3 oh no's as somebody that's in marketing?
That's a good one.
Business posts?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it could be education or it could be
Or I guess-
anything. Just
I guess
regular.
I guess your top 2 business, and then we'll say your one thing that you see some of
that's
your
a good
friends that are business owners post.
So I've seen this quite a bit. Companies running ads who are making claims that I know are not or cannot, no way they can possibly make that claim. For example, I'll give you a perfect example.
I don't want to hear names, but I want to hear what kind of a claim.
We guarantee you page 1 results on Google search. I see that all the time.
Okay.
And if people understood the details behind that, yeah, I can get a company on page 1 for a search term that nobody's searching for. We have access to all this data, right? So if you do a search for, financial advisors near me, I can tell you that there's 300,000 searches a month for that. But if you, did a search for financial services, I don't know, what's the smallest town some town that's got a population of 10. Yeah, I can get you on page 1 for a search for that term, but nobody's searching for it. So that's number 1. We see that all the time. Why did he fall out of the chair there? What happened?
Because she said Beaver. So
when you said a small town, I said Beaver Island.
Town, and she yelled Beaver Island. It's not a town. First off, St. James is the village that it.
Oh.
Yeah, she doesn't know, but
that's where Joe's family is.
Yeah, so they're from the smallest town you could think of. But it's 600 year-round residents. So you said small town, she just blurted something out and made me lose my chair.
So I would say that's the biggest one, just where people make claims that they can't back up and they can't be valid. The other is just all these companies that are just constantly selling. They're just sell every single one of their posts. Look, stop selling and start educating people, and then you're going to create engagement with your audience, and they're going to ask the questions, and that'll lead to sales.
When it comes to your thought on the like you said, people go and say, hey, I can get you on the first page, but then they put you on the most minute first page ever, right? Like of the smallest town, they put you on mold remediation on Beaver Island. There is no mold remediation needed on Beaver Island. Guarantee it. Guarantee it, because I know the entire market. Every single person on that market, I know. So let's say that they're like, hey, look, we put you on this thing. Now we fulfilled our thing. How do you combat that as a business owner with your social media platform? Right? Like, not to put you in the spot where I'm like, hey, how do I fight you to say, no, you didn't do that, what I wanted you to do? Right?
So if you're paying that company to do that, and somebody educates you on why that was a pointless approach,
endeavor,
I don't think you need to fight it, right? I think you just walk away and you go with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Okay, fair enough. So you're just saying don't even fight it, because I'm not going to get, as a business owner, I'm not going to get my money back.
Yeah, they're going to say we did what we said we were going to do.
Yeah, we did what we were going to do. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just being educated as a business owner onto who I am hiring, right? Hey, you say you're going to go and get me more, mold jobs in said space. Please define said space.
Well, and that's the key point you're bringing up there. At the end of the day, there's a lot of good digital marketing companies out there. At the end of the day, it's about generating leads that turn into sales for all of you.
Mhm. All right.
So, there's a lot of the right and wrong questions that you should be going into those discussions with these marketing companies having, but you want to make sure and hold them accountable to bringing you actual business. Yeah, we could bring you a ton of website visits, right? But what good are website visits if they don't convert to a lead or a sale?
How can, as a business owner, how do you think would be best to set up that platform with my marketing company to say, hey, here's what I want to do. How do we, create these metrics to make sure you're doing what you need to do, and I want to pay you to do what you do?
It's going to take due diligence. It's going to take, their approach. If they're going to just sell you a canned out of the box solution, it's not going to be what you want. You want a company that's going to put together, a customized proposal and strategy for you and how to get from point A to B. It's due diligence, right? You're going to go on some marketing website. They're going to have an amazing website. They're going to talk all about how they're going to grow your following on social media and how they're going to bring you all this business. And so, I would ask to look at their use cases, speak with other clients, look at their reviews. If they're not willing to, quite honestly, put together a strategy and a proposal for you without charging you a dime, I don't know. To me, why wouldn't you do that?
Can you post too much on social media as an individual and or business owner? Where it would cause people to mute you and no longer be visible in their page?
Just not even mute, but just ignore.
Is there a threshold of where, or that's just an individual opinion?
So I see some B2C, high-end B2C companies post multiple times a day. For small business owners like all of us, I would say at maximum 1 day a week. I'm sorry.
Wait.
Once a day.
One day a week?
No, once a day.
Once a day. Okay, good. Okay.
At maximum.
At max. What's the most ideal?
Like I said, we do 3 to 5 times a week. We try to keep our posts to when we get the most engagement. So we're analyzing data. We're looking at, hey, when are people interacting with our posts the most? And then we kind of keep our posting to those times.
I have an employee, Christine. She runs our social media. She does the same thing. She literally waits to post something on our page. And she'll do, I would say 2 to 3 maybe posts on our company per week.
Yeah.
Which seems about average. You said 1 per day, which would be 5 per a week would be the max. What would be the minimum? I'm asking you, Steve.
I would say the minimum would be once a week. You want to, and again, you're going to let your engagement of your posts kind of dictate the frequency.
Depends on your industry, depends on what you're doing, how you're doing it, that kind of thing. So now, Christine, I feel hits that perfect realm of when to post, how to post, and all that. She literally pays attention to, like you said, that post. When most people are paying attention to our post, she hits it at that time. Is there a correlation between posting for my business and my personal? And if I were to post a bunch of like you said, the perfect is the most is once a week. If I were to post once a week on my business once a day through the week on my business and once a day through the week on my personal, is that too much?
Well, define too much, right? I mean, the worst case scenario, you're going to have people either unfollow your business page or, snooze you for 30 days, say if we're talking about Facebook, or unfollow you on Facebook. If I'm seeing the Facebook algorithm is really weird and nobody can figure it out, including digital marketing companies. So, if I start to see the same person post on my feed every day, I'll snooze them for 30 days. I don't need to know every aspect of somebody's life.
Go ahead. Steph, you want to make a comment? All right, go ahead, Steve. So if continue on that in the sense that if somebody, I really don't want to see everybody. I want to be able to see multiple people come through my feed, right? And be able to see multiple businesses and whatnot. So if somebody keeps literally continuing, I'm going to snooze them because you're right. I don't want to see them. I want a what do you call it?
Variety.
I want to be able to see everybody. I don't want the same person over and over, right? So is that detrimental? And dive into that, Steve.
Again, if I think you, from a business standpoint, you have to let the engagement of the post dictate that. So let me explain what I mean by engagement. So in the old days, if you're a business and you do a post, when somebody would like your post, that used to have a weighting factor in Facebook. It still does, but it's very, very small now. So when I talk about engagement, I'm talking about comments, conversations, and shares. So likes really don't mean a whole lot. It will increase the frequency of people that are seeing your posts if you're getting a lot of likes, but engagement is what's going to really be attractive to Facebook.
I know that HR isn't your realm, but you are a small business owner that works with either contractors or employees. Do you, when you get resumes in for people, do you kind of scope out their social media to see if it's public or private and what's on there?
Absolutely.
And do you?
I don't know if it's legal. Sorry, I don't know if it's legal. But yes, I do.
No, it's legal. It's a public platform.
We have 4 viewers right now. I'm one of them.
That's just on this particular.
Well, yeah,
right.
but
no,
we have
4 or 5 pages open right now.
Well, whatever it is,
right.
let's go through this, right?
Way to let people know how successful you are, Joe.
Well, thank you. I'm
Hi, Mom.
Hey.
Yeah, my mom hasn't even commented.
Mom hasn't even pointed in yet. Like
Carrie, thanks for joining
Carrie's
us.
busy as shit. Like, no, we're good as
Steve,
thanks
for
ever.
being on with it.
Perfect example. I'm not creating the engagement I needed to.
Steve, I have to ask you this because we have some viewers. I'll say some viewers, so I'm not throwing us under the bus. We have thumbs ups. We have thumbs ups and hearts. Right? Hearts. Mm-hmm. Whenever I go through Facebook, I always give people hearts.
That's what Steve just went over. Like how it doesn't impact the things as
much.
Likes. As comment. Likes, comments, laughy faces, wild faces, it's all the same.
It's all the same.
Yes.
So if I truly want to help my friend's business, what I truly need to do is go on and share their business.
Or comment.
Or comment would be the minimum, share would be the more maximum, right?
Yeah, I mean, sharing when possible is great. It's amazing. All the business owner will love it, and your friends may really appreciate it because it might be something they're interested in.
Sharing
Absolutely. Okay. Sharing is caring. What if I have a friend that does real estate, because everybody does real estate, and I have another friend that I have 4 more friends that do real estate, and my one real estate buddy, posted something that I really actually like. It's educational. I really want to share it, but I have 4 more friends that do real estate.
You're screwed. That's what the answer is. You're screwed, Jeff.
Well, let's discuss this one. We have 15 more minutes. This to me is truly one of the things that are tough about the toughest thing about social media is walking down this path of, do I go and support said friend and just share it because...
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna change directions a little bit.
Damn it! I was just going down this way. Do you want me to play the bongo?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So the big thing, Steve, in the last couple of years is group pages. Okay.
Okay, that's a great
Right.
Good question. Okay.
So
very good question.
I'm I go to a group page, Beaver Island Chat. And I'm new to
This
Beaver
is like
Island,
the
and
Joe
I'm
Show,
looking
our
for
show.
a marketing guy. And all of everybody, all 6 people in my referral group go, oh, hey, get Steve. Steve's the guy. Steve. Is that
right.
good, bad, indifferent? Or those? I mean, how much weight have?
What if Steve sucks?
Right.
Well, that person's going out on a limb for Steve. It kind of falls back on them. It doesn't fall back on Steve, right? And I refer business all the time on those groups, and don't have any problem doing it because I believe in the companies I'm referring.
Yeah. What do you get a lot of business from that? Have you, or do the companies you refer, have they gotten a lot of business from that?
We have gotten business on LinkedIn from that.
Yeah.
Not on Facebook. I don't know. I need to really investigate that.
I've gotten business through that platform.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because you're B2C.
Right.
Right. But like the point that Ken's making and that Steve kind of touched on as well is just that when you're out there and you're blindly recommending these people or businesses, and then if they start to get some questionable reviews, or you start to see the trend of the same 30 people or 5 people requesting the same person at every single turn, either you are an active client of theirs, or they're an active client of yours.
Right.
But I think it kind of starts to look bad on social media when it's the same people referring the same company. And then it starts to affect your credibility as an individual and or business owner in the community.
So in my mind, can we avoid this with, yes, I get referrals online because our company has been a part of that kind of plan to generate business, right? We have been a part of that in the sense that, hey, let's go out and recommend said company and actively be looking for that. But at the same time, our company drives reviews.
Right.
So somebody can go out, and to me, reviews are a huge part of your social media, your online presence is the reviews. So if I can go, hey, come and see us, and people are driving
but there's
companies to us.
There's a difference though. Like what Kent and Steve are talking about, like Steve said that he has no problem referring businesses and supporting businesses that he knows, likes, and trusts, and or is like
totally,
whatever, has a relationship with. So like that's one thing. Like if somebody refers me on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, and it's somebody that I know, like, and trust, and somebody that either is a client of mine or somebody that knows what our deliverable is, I will comment and react and engage. But if it's some random from a networking group that never took the time to really get to know me as a business owner, I won't engage in that because I feel like it's fake.
Yeah.
But it still benefits you.
Well, not really.
I like what Steve said too. Is he's a B2B? Why So you got to understand which platform. So he's going to look at LinkedIn and use that more because he's B2B. I mean, why is a B2B going to be out on Facebook?
Totally.
Well, they should. They still should.
You could still generate business off Facebook as a B2B.
Well, and you have to know your audience, right? So if your audience is, women between 40 and 60, you want to have your business on Facebook. You sell to women-owned businesses, right? You're a B2B, but you sell to women-owned businesses only. I'm telling you, they're on Facebook. That's the demographic.
Amen. Thank you. It's really about who you're selling to. I don't care if you're B2B. You really could find your demographic on Facebook.
Exactly.
Period. That's it. So if you were to go out and say you really...
We're having difficulties in the green.
Oh, we
in the
are
producer
arguing
booth.
here in the studio. The green room has just been erased on that. What did that say, Kent?
It said 10 minutes.
It said, Steve, just to be clear, it said
10 minutes.
It said uck foff. Yeah.
But it's just like
To
right.
me.
So you have to
Pointing at
know.
me.
So the kind of the wrap up of what I got out of this conversation today is that one, you have to know your audience. You have to know what platforms your audience are on.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
And education is better than selling.
Yes.
Conduct yourself like an adult on social media.
Define adult. Because
Well,
there are a lot of adults that are
I
not
guess-
adult-like.
Conduct yourself with respect on social media.
Okay.
If you're an employer looking for an employee, I guess word to wise for employees, be prepared. If your page is public, we are looking, and we're going to take a little gander at what you're doing on the weekends. So if you have questionable things,
love that.
Make it private.
I took a training just this week actually because of this show, just that I could be prepared, and it was about how to better represent yourself on LinkedIn actually. And they said something that I wrote down and I think is important if you own a business on any social media. They said you have to stop being a resume and start being a resource.
Yeah.
Right. And that's that education piece. And education doesn't mean that I take a quote from your speech and put it out there. Right. Go ahead, Joe.
I just want you to continue on. I feel like it's such a good point is education. I have had 3 or 4 meetings this week already where I've discussed with other people the education of what we do, just simply to educate them and say, go take my education and apply it to your work. I don't need the income. I just want to be an education provider to you. And so the education is such a huge thing.
It's easy. It's easy to list things out there and, hey, I'm a mortgage rep and I do mortgages and rates are low. It's so easy to be a resume. So people can look at your LinkedIn bio, people can look at your posts, and if all you're doing is just showing your resume, that they don't. Oh, great. Yeah, exactly. Right. However, if you become a resource and then you start approaching your posts, your bios on this, everything a little bit differently, because now you want people to go, oh, wait a minute. I remember that guy gave me, he said to not stick your finger in the socket while you're standing in your flooded basement.
Right.
I don't know what to do.
No, literally you become the educator and you give such simple advice that most people don't even realize. And they look at that and they go, oh my God, he was the educator. I'm going to him to ask, who do I go to next for this?
He'll know what to do.
And he knows what to do. Or she. They will go with they know what to do, right?
Depending on the pronoun.
To me, that's such a huge thing, is if you're the educator, you are officially the top of your industry. Yeah,
you're the SME.
SME.
Subject matter expert.
SME.
So I have one last question.
Ooh.
So
take your time.
We got 5 minutes.
So I see a lot of times when people talk about consistency, and I know that I've attempted to manage some of my social media stuff for Steph's books and not done it consistently. So is that something that you encourage? Like, if you as a business owner have this whole new year, new me kind of thing going on and you're going to do your social media and all that, but you know you're not going to be consistent, does that really like you kind of go up and then you go back to the bottom, right? Or is that like when it's time to hire somebody that knows how to
in my
create
mind,
the post?
Wait, so you said you go up and then you go back to the bottom.
Well, because like if you stop posting, you're gonna go right back to the bottom.
If you're here and then you go up and you're like, I'm gonna do this, and then you go back to the bottom, to me, the bottom is lower than your average.
You could.
Totally. So you're gonna like totally bottom out. So in my mind, no. If you want to go and do a social marketing platform or what do you call it? Campaign. Thank you. Good word. If you want to do a social media campaign for this year, go spend the goddamn money. If that's your weak point, don't do it. Go spend the money on somebody that freaking does it. Thank you.
Like, Steve, do you think that if you're not going to be consistent, it's not worth it, or that's not really necessarily?
Do you agree with me, Steve?
I think that I agree with both of you. I think that you are going to let the data determine your consistency. So if you post something and you get not a single like, not a single comment, not a single share, you're going to be like, well, that was stupid. I'm no good at this. Whereas if you post something and you get, it strikes a conversation among people, you get 34 likes and you're going to be like, oh, you know what? This probably added value to you. So you're going to start the
What if my post got no likes, no comments, but it was the very first one I've ever done, and knowing that it's probably not going to generate anything in the beginning.
You like your own post.
Look, everybody's got access to Google, right?
Yeah.
So like, people should Google, hey, I'm a new business. What should I be posting? And they'll get some really good answers.
Okay.
To your point, Joe, look, there's two things my wife and I cannot do together. We cannot play volleyball and we cannot paint. And I absolutely hate to paint.
I'm with you.
So if I can hire a professional to come in here and do 2 rooms in 2 days and it costs me $800, I'm going to outsource that every time. Digital marketing is very complicated. Have a conversation that doesn't cost you anything, get educated, and move forward from there. That's kind of my approach to everybody.
That's how I hire my employees. Literally, if I don't want to do it, I'm literally hiring somebody to do it for me. That's it.
Well, I guess thanks so much, Steve, for coming on the show and sharing your knowledge and information on the space of digital marketing. And
throw it out there.
Steve,
Market Sparks, SPARX.com. Market Sparks.
I appreciate that. I honestly didn't know what this was going to be. I didn't do this to plug Market Sparks. I really wanted to just have a conversation and help you guys out if possible. Thanks so much for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
We really appreciate the good information, Steve. Yeah, have a great afternoon.
All right, you guys too. Take care.
Bye.
Later.
And then next week we have we're going to talk economics, so that should be fun and interesting.
I call it economics.
Economics? What's it?
Economics.
Economics.
I call it economics.
It must be a Michigan thing.
Yeah.
So
you guys are freaks. Oh wait, Freakonomics? Anybody know that one?
So we'll be talking economics, and then the week after that we're going to have a panel on talking about safety. So we will have a restoration person, we'll have a paramedic, we have a realtor, we have a non-for-profit person. So we're going to be covering all the bases. We have men and women coming on talking about how to engage and be safe out there while you're performing your services.
I brought a drum to the studio, so.
All right. Well, we got to go.
Later, guys.
We got to go.
Have a good day.